Good morning, everyone, and happy Thursday. It's a pretty nice day out right now, even though it's kind of cloudy. So make sure you get out this morning, burn off some energy, have some fun outside while we can. And then this afternoon, it's supposed to start raining again. So hopefully, you'll be able to do all of your work at that point in time. Okay. Today, we're going to work on the next page in our packet, which is finding the main idea. Now, because this assignment is a lot shorter and it's only 2 questions, I'm not going to walk you through the questions on this one, but I will give you some tips and tricks on main idea as well as read this passage out loud for you guys as well. Okay. So, the very first thing I have for you guys is a vocabulary on main idea. Bowser really likes this one. He likes when the bear talks at the beginning because his ears twitch and he does his little head tilt. So we're going to watch our vocabulary first, and then we're going to take a look at our reading passage for today.
All right, class, I know you're ready for the weekend. Don't forget about your 5-page paper. Make sure that you express your main idea and back it up.
Listen up, lend me an ear. The hot new thing is the main idea, supported by the details to keep it all clear. The main idea is the reason that we're all here. Yeah, come on, let me in here. The hot new thing is the main idea, supported by the details to keep it all clear. The main idea is the reason that we're all here. Have you ever read something and when you got to the end, you didn't get the point? Nope, you didn't understand. Well, let me break it down for the next time you read. There's gonna be 3 basic things you see: the subject, main idea, and the details. Sort of like a city, the house, the people. The subject is the broad thing that it's about. The main idea, what's that now? It's the main thing the writer wants to say. It's the central point. You get it? Okay. You can often find it in the first couple lines, but it could be anywhere, so go find it. It's supported by specific details. The facts in the sentences, be real. They should add up to make the main idea, kids. They form up like cheerleaders in a pyramid. Like I just read an article called Bare Facts, and it talked about how they could be brown or black, polar or grizzly or another type. They're all good hunters and they know how to fight because they have big paws so they can catch fish, and big sharp teeth that they eat with. And if they want to climb a tree to find something to eat, their super sharp claws are all that they need. See? Now let's break it down. Let's dig deeper in the article I found. What's the subject? And what would be the main idea they had there? The bears are good hunters, that's most important. How about the details they had to support it? They have large teeth, paws, and claws. That's how you know hunting is a bear's job. Listen up, lend me an ear. The hot new thing is the main idea, supported by the details to keep it all clear. The main idea is the reason that we're all here. Yeah, come on, let me in here. The hot new thing is the main idea, supported by the details to keep it all clear. The main idea is the reason that we're all here. I just read a story about a boy named Ben on the first day of school. What happened then? Ben clutched his new backpack and walked in with a big smile when he saw his old friends. Tried to play it cool when he saw his old crush, but when she was close, his mind turned to mush. He liked his art teacher, that class was real fun, and was so worked up that he could hardly eat lunch. Now, what's the subject? Ben's first day of school. And what's the main idea? What's the author want to prove? Ben's first day of school was exciting. Details to back that up, where are they hiding? When Ben saw his old friends, he was psyched, and he was nervous around the girl that he liked. He even had a backpack that was brand new. Now I get the main idea. Can you?
All right, guys. So we have to find our main idea of this story, as well as we also have to write a concluding sentence for the paragraph. So if you think back on the vocabulary asks you to read the passage, and then it wants you to figure out what the subject is all about. And then from the subject, you're able to pull that main idea. So while I read, I really want you thinking about what the subject of my story is, okay? So we're going to start right here. Whether you play football, basketball, soccer, baseball, or hockey, your team wants to win the top trophy. In hockey, this trophy is the famous Stanley Cup. The National Hockey League first presented this trophy in 1893 to a team from Montreal, Canada. Each year since, this trophy has been presented to the team that wins the hockey championship. In 1924, the National Hockey League began engraving the names of every member of every winning team onto the cup. Today, the Stanley Cup has 5 bands that go around the bottom of it. Each of these bands has room for the names of every member of 13 teams. Once all 5 of the original bands were full, they had to begin removing a band in order to place a new band on the trophy. Every 13 years, when a band fills up, the oldest band on the trophy is sent to the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto, Canada, and a new band is added to the bottom of the trophy. Since 1893, there has only been 2 years in which the trophy was not awarded. This was in 1919 because of a Spanish flu epidemic, and in 2005 because of the National Hockey League lookout. So, after I was done reading this, I was genuinely curious, especially about this part here where it says 1919, a Spanish flu epidemic. So, of course, I had to look because I wasn't sure when the National Hockey League actually played for the Stanley Cup. So, I was looking it up to see when they played and to see if maybe this would be another year that they might end up not being able to award a winner. So, as you can tell on the Stanley Cup, it's all of the games right now are currently postponed. So, I'm wondering if this is going to be another year that the Stanley Cup actually is going to be not awarded due to what we're going through right now with the coronavirus. Just something interesting to think about. So, all right, if we think back to our vocabulary, the first step that it told us in finding our main idea was to figure out what our subject of the passage is. So, most of the passage has to deal with around hockey and the Stanley Cup. So, I would say that the subject of the passage is the National Hockey League's Stanley Cup, is their trophy. Okay, so from that, you have to determine what the main idea is. So it's what the story is all about, what they really want you to take away from it. Not necessarily learn from it like a theme, but what they want you to take away from it. Okay. Right here, it talks about the trophy has been presented to the team that wins the hockey championship every year. Okay. And down below, it talks about how they engrave on the trophy the names of the winners and how they move the bands when they fill up and they take them to the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto. Uh, so you really want to be thinking about, based on that subject of the National Hockey League's trophy, the Stanley Cup, what does this story really want you to take away from it? Okay. So when you look at the bottom 2 questions, you see a part here that says main idea. This main idea is really what they want you to take away from it. It's what they want you to pull from the story. But the last thing they want you to do is write a concluding sentence, what the whole paragraph kind of ends with. If you take a look right now, it doesn't have a very good concluding sentence because it kind of cuts off at there was 2 years that it was not awarded, right? So if you think back to all of our writing that we've done with your classes on our 5-paragraph essays and what that last sentence of the paragraph is all about, it's kind of that food for thought to make you think of more and make your reader want to look more into it. So I kind of wonder if maybe a good concluding sentence might be what we were talking about with just before about the Stanley Cup and how, as of right now, the Stanley Cup's been postponed because of the coronavirus. You could also pick a good concluding sentence that goes along with and kind of wraps up everything the story talked about. You know, how it wraps up your thesis statement, it wraps up everything that was kind of talked about in one good sentence. So, I'm not going to give you the answers for this page because it really is only 2 questions, and I really want you thinking about that main idea and a good way to wrap up that paragraph. But I really hope that seeing this was able to help you kind of narrow down some ideas. If you need to go back and watch the vocabulary again to get some more ideas, please feel free to do what you need to do to help you better understand our passage. Okay. I hope you guys have a wonderful Thursday and I cannot wait to see you soon. I hope you're doing well. We miss you.